All right, monsters of the Midway, grab your navy and orange caps because what's about to drop at Hallis Hall is going to blow your minds. DEEBO Samuel to the Bears. Yeah, you heard that right. And it ain't just some whisper. Sources close to ESPN and Ian Rappaport are hinting that Ryan Poles is about to seal the deal that'll give Caleb Williams the ultimate weapon he needs to dominate the NFC. And in just a minute, I'm going to break down why this move is the masterstroke we've been missing for the Super Bowl, and why without it, our offense's future is up in the air. But that ain't all, because while we're celebrating a potential Pro Bowler, Bleacher Report drops a bombshell. Tyson Bagent is on the trade block. And as much as it stings, I'm going to show you why flipping him now is the smartest play to secure Caleb's future in the entire franchise, and why holding on to him would be a strategic blunder that'd cost us big. And to top it all off, the news nobody in the Windy City wanted to hear, Rome ODUNZE and his foot injury. His own words have set off all the alarms at Hallis Hall, and I'm going to reveal why his statement is a red flag that could change the trajectory of his career and the depth of our receiver room forever. This is Bears football, and you can't miss a single second. All right, fam, let's kick things off with the news that, if it happens, could be Ryan Poles' most audacious and exciting move this offseason. We're talking about DEEBO Samuel. Yes, you heard that right. An analyst is out there suggesting the Bears should move fast to bring this Pro Bowl monster to Chicago. And let me tell you, after what we've seen and what we know, this isn't fantasy. It's a strategic necessity that could catapult our offense into the NFL's elite. Look, let's be honest. Trading DJ Moore to the Bills was a blow, right? While we love what Caleb Williams is doing, and we're convinced Luther Burden III is about to explode like a rocket, the depth in our wide receiver room, beyond those two, is a question mark. Yes, we brought in Khalif Raymond, and yes, we drafted Xavier Thomas, but with all due respect, neither of them screams immediate impact, Pro Bowl talent, like a guy like DEEBO Samuel guarantees. And this becomes even more critical with the news we have about Rome ODUNZE, which we'll break down in a moment. The equation is simple. If we want Caleb Williams to have all the tools to be an MVP, we need to surround him with undeniable talent. Why is DEEBO Samuel the missing piece? Because this man isn't just a receiver, he's a force of nature. He's what they call a wide back in the league, a hybrid who can line up anywhere, slot, wide, even in the backfield, and turn every touch into an explosive play. His versatility is any offensive coordinator's dream, and he's exactly the type of player Ben Johnson loves. Imagine this, fam. Caleb Williams making his reads, Luther Burden III stretching the field with his speed, and then DEEBO Samuel catching a screen pass, breaking 2 tackles, and turning a 5-yard gain into a 50-yard touchdown. That's the kind of YAC, yards after catch monster we desperately need. Last season with the Commanders, DEEBO proved he's still an elite player. 72 receptions for 727 yards and 5 touchdowns. And let's not forget his history with the 49ers. Pro Bowl, first-team All-Pro, and 2 Super Bowl appearances. This isn't some washed-up veteran. He's a 27-year-old playmaker with a full tank and big stage experience. His physical play style, his route running ability, and his capacity to gain yards after contact are exactly what this offense needs to complement Caleb's passing game and Burden's potential. The analyst mentions other free agents like Stefon Diggs and Keenan Allen. Diggs, with all due respect, would probably be too expensive and would want a WR1 role that might clash with Burden and Odunze's development. Allen, who was with us in 2024, seems to have an eye on returning to the Chargers. That leaves DEEBO as the perfect fit. He's a proven player, a physical runner, and a guy who brings a tough edge to the position. Ryan Poles is a GM who looks for value and maximizes impact. If the price is right, bringing in DEEBO Samuel would not only improve our offense, it would transform it. It would give Caleb Williams another elite target, relieve pressure on Burden and Odunze, and force defensive coordinators to lose sleep trying to figure out how to cover everyone. This isn't a luxury, it's a strategic move that could push us from being a promising team to a true Super Bowl contender. If Poles can close this, fam, it's an absolute game changer. It would be a statement of intent, a clear message to the league. The Bears are serious, and more importantly, it would give Caleb the confidence that management is doing everything possible to surround him with the best talent. This is the kind of move contending teams make. And we, bro, are in that window. But let's dive a little deeper into the tactics, because this is where Ben Johnson's vision and DEEBO's versatility align perfectly. Johnson is known for his creativity, for moving pieces around, for exploiting mismatches. With DEEBO, you don't just have a receiver who can win one-on-one, but a weapon you can use on jet sweeps and backfield formations, on short slant routes that turn into huge gains. And this not only generates yards, but it opens up the field for everyone else. If defenses have to worry about DEEBO in the backfield, that means fewer eyes on DeAndre Swift or Khalil Herbert. If you move him to the slot, who covers him? A slow linebacker? A safety who can't keep up? It's a constant problem for the opponent. Furthermore, let's think about the ripple effect. If DEEBO arrives, the pressure on Luther Burden III to be the absolute WR1 diminishes. Burden can continue to develop at his own pace, exploiting his speed and waxy ability without the burden of being the sole primary option. And if ODUNZE, with his injury situation, can't return to 100% immediately, DEEBO gives us an elite insurance policy. He's not just a nice-to-have, he's a must-have if we want to maximize Caleb Williams' window. The cost, of course, is a concern. DEEBO has a significant contract, and any trade would involve giving up draft capital. But Ryan Poles has proven to be a master at asset management. If we can get DEEBO for a reasonable price, say a second-round pick and maybe a conditional pick, the return on investment would be exponential. A player of his caliber, with his playoff experience and leadership, is invaluable for a young team with Super Bowl aspirations. We cannot afford to be stingy when the opportunity to build a dynasty is in front of us. This is the time to be aggressive, to go all in. Caleb Williams' window opens now, and we cannot waste it due to indecision. Just time. Okay, bro, we're moving from a potential explosive signing to a roster decision that, while it might sting some, has undeniable logic for the direction our franchise is heading. We're talking about Tyson Bagent. An NFL analyst, Mo Moten from Bleacher Report, is suggesting the Bears should consider trading Bagent before training camp. And look, I know Bagent is a fan favorite, a guy with an incredible story, a true underdog who earned everyone's respect, but we have to look at this with a clear head and think about the Bears' future. Bagent, man, he's got heart, he's got grit, and he showed us flashes of what he can do last season when he had to step in for Caleb Williams. It was a fairy tale story, an undrafted guy who made the roster and even won games. But let's be realistic. Since we drafted Caleb first overall in 2024, Bagent hasn't seen much action. He's thrown only 6 regular season passes in the last 2 years. Caleb is our franchise quarterback. He's healthy, and he's not going anywhere. His window of opportunity as a starter in Chicago is closed, at least for now, and probably forever with the Bears. Moten's argument is simple, and more importantly, logical. Caleb Williams doesn't have a concerning injury history, so Bagent could be a clipboard holder on the sideline for the foreseeable future. And if that's the case, his trade value is only going to stagnate. Ben Johnson, our head coach, has praised Bagent, even calling him one of the best backups in the NFL. And I agree, he has talent. He has that spark, that ability to extend plays, and that nothing-to-lose mentality. But we also have veteran Case Keenum on the roster, who is more than capable of being Williams' backup. Keenum brings that veteran presence, that experience, and he knows the system. He's a proven professional who can step in and manage the game if needed, without the learning curve that Bagent, though talented, still has. So if the Bears can get a strong offer for Bagent, especially with how loaded the 2027 draft class is expected to be, it's a move Ryan Poles has to seriously consider. Poles is a GM who looks to maximize the value of every asset. If we can turn a backup quarterback who probably won't see the field into a valuable draft pick, that's smart roster management. It frees up a roster spot, gives us more ammunition for future drafts, and allows us to continue building around Caleb. This isn't a disrespect to Bagent, it's a business decision. It's a cold, calculated, but necessary decision. Every dollar, every draft pick, every roster spot matters when you're building a Super Bowl contender. We cannot afford to have assets on the bench that are not going to play when we could convert them into resources to strengthen other areas. If Poles can get a decent pick for Bagent, say a 5th or 6th round pick, it's a win-win situation for everyone. Bagent gets a chance to compete for a starting job elsewhere, where his play style and story could fit perfectly. And the Bears get more resources to strengthen other areas of the team, like the offensive line or the secondary. It's a tough decision, yes, because Bagent earned the affection of the fans. He earned the respect of his teammates and coaches. But from a purely analytical and franchise management perspective, it makes a lot of sense. It's the kind of move a smart GM makes to secure the long-term future of the team. We cannot let emotion cloud our judgment when it comes to building a championship team. Caleb Williams' window is now, and every decision must be geared towards maximizing that window. All right, fam, let's close out with some news that, honestly, it has my stomach in knots, and that could have much deeper implications than many are willing to admit. It's about ODUNZE, and an update on his foot injury that has set off all the alarms and raised serious questions about his long-term career. This one, bro, is a low blow, and it genuinely worries me. Remember that stress fracture in his left foot that sidelined him for the final 5 games of the 2025 season? It was an injury that already worried us at the time, but we thought, he's young, he'll recover. Well, when asked if his foot had returned to normal, ODUNZE dropped a bombshell that resonated throughout Hallas Hall. This is my new normal. And it's not that he's in constant pain, he explained. But the way his foot broke created calluses and shifted some things around, resulting in a different type of foot structure. Man, when a player says new normal after an injury, that's a giant red flag, a sign that something fundamental has changed. He even compared it to an ACL tear, saying it never really goes back to normal. That's a chilling comparison because an ACL can change the trajectory of a career. Dan Wiederer, a veteran Bears reporter, called it the most alarming Hollis Hall comment of the day. And NFL analyst Ben Devine simply said, "This is not good, yikes." And to be honest with you, I completely agree with them. This is huge, especially considering we traded DJ Moore this offseason, which put even more pressure on Odunze to become that consistent threat, and a WR1 for Caleb Williams. The expectation was for Odunze to make a giant leap in his third year, solidifying himself as one of the main weapons in our offense. This news puts a huge question mark over that expectation. He had a very strong start to the 2025 season with 20 receptions for 296 yards and 5 touchdowns in the first 4 games before the injury started limiting his effectiveness, and he has already accumulated impressive numbers in his first 2 seasons: 98 receptions, 1,395 receiving yards, and 9 touchdowns. So, the talent is undeniable, the potential is there, his ability to win contested catches, his size, his route running ability, all of that makes him an elite receiver. But this new normal comment, fam, is deeply concerning. Sports injury specialist Dr. Jesse Morse warned that it could easily linger and that adapting to the altered foot structure will be a long-term process. And former Bears wide receiver Allen Robinson II, who suffered a similar navicular fracture, said, "It just wasn't the same." That's a chilling statement for any Bears fan, because Robinson never returned to being the same dominant receiver after that injury. This doesn't mean Odunze can't still be a star. He's a warrior, and he's clearly dedicated. His work ethic is unquestionable. But it does raise serious questions about his long-term durability and whether this injury will affect his explosiveness, his ability to cut, his speed, and ultimately his ability to make those game-changing plays. Ben Johnson's offense needs him to be a consistent threat, to be able to win in all areas of the field. If his ability to separate or his speed after the catch is compromised, that limits his ceiling. This news adds a layer of uncertainty that we didn't have, and that, honestly, makes me think that the idea of bringing in a DEEBO Samuel is not just a luxury, but an even greater necessity. We cannot rely solely on a Luther Burden III who, while promising, also had his own injury issues last year. The health of our key players is paramount, and Odunze's statement is a brutal reminder of the fragility of NFL careers. We need Rome to be the Rome we saw before the injury, and this news makes you wonder if he ever truly will be again. It's a harsh reality, but we have to face it, and Ryan Poles has to take this into account when evaluating the depth of our wide receiver core. And that's all for today, fam. What a roller coaster of emotions we've had. From the pure adrenaline of a potential DEEBO Samuel signing that would make us dream big, through the cold logic of a Tyson BAGENT trade that would optimize our resources, to the worrying reality of Rome Odunze's injury. This, bro, is what it means to be a Bears fan. The highs and lows, the hope, the concern, and the unwavering passion for our team. We have a lot to be excited about, but also some real challenges to overcome. Ryan Poles has a huge job ahead of him, but I trust this front office and this coaching staff. We're building something special here in Chicago, and we're going to keep fighting, no matter what. Bear down, always. If you made it this far, you're a true fan. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and tell me in the comments, do you want DEEBO Samuel in Chicago? Do you think trading BAGENT is the right move? And how worried are you about Rome Odunze's new normal? I want to read every single one of your responses. See you in the next video.